Welcome back to Become a Calm Mama. I'm your host, I'm Darlene Childress, and on this episode, I am revisiting a podcast episode that I've actually published twice now, and it's called Back to School Shit Show, where I walk you through 5 tips to help you with the school transition. And I wanted to re-release it because it's still really an issue for parents, of course, right? Because kids all of a sudden have to wake up early. They have to get their backpacks ready. They have to get to school, and it's not going to be just summer camp and fun or lay around and watch television or play on their iPad or go on into the pool or to the lake. It is kind of like going back to work for them. And they're excited. They have big feelings. They're nervous. They don't know who's going to be in their class yet. Maybe you guys did a little roundup, but still they're not quite sure what the vibe is going to be. And they might have a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of excitement, a little bit of dread. If you have older kids, middle schoolers, they're transitioning into where they're going to have different classes and different periods and different teachers. They might have PE for the first time. High schoolers, they are excited to see their friends again. And also they have a lot of social pressure to look a certain way and feel a certain way. So there's just a lot going on for children and for teens when they go back to school. And there's a lot for moms as well. So it's definitely a transition. And during transitions, really special challenges come up that I wanted to walk you through on this episode. The other thing I want to remind you, and I don't think I mentioned it in this episode, is that you can go slow. I was just coaching a mom this week, and she was like, okay, school starts in 3 weeks, and I really think we should start back on our morning routine. And I was like, wait, what? No, don't pre-routine your kids because it won't feel genuine and they're still going to be in the school transition anyways. So I would just recommend you slowly get back into that school routine. Don't add chores yet. Don't add extra new stuff. I know, like for me, when I start something new, I want to start off right and be really intentional. And I put a lot of pressure on myself and my kids to, do it all 100%. And I want to caution you that allow for the transition to take place over the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's okay if you're late a little bit. It's okay if someone forgets their lunchbox or, they have a big meltdown before school because their socks are itchy. Just allow that process and don't make it mean anything about the whole school year or about your kids or yourself. Just allow the transition to take place. And if you're still having issues after 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, then maybe you want to reach out to me, get some help, join the Calm Mama Club. We can walk through your morning routines and give you some really good strategies. So this episode is going to be really helpful. I'm walking you through 5 things to think about that will happen over the next couple of weeks. And I want to point out to you that I have a couple other episodes that might be really, really helpful. One is a back to school mindset episode just for you. And we'll link this in the show notes. And this is episode 80. And then I also have 2 different episodes about making mornings easier. One is episode 30. And then the other one is actually a whole entire roadmap for your mornings. And you can get that on my website, or we'll link it into the show notes. And I kind of walk you through kind of how to set up your morning routine, what needs to be done at what time, and all of that. So that's a really good resource for you. So I'm wishing you all great back to school vibes. I was in my Pilates class this morning, and the teacher was saying that at her kids' school, on the first day of school, all the moms or whoever they hook up, and they meet up at a restaurant and they have big mimosas. And I think that's super fun. And not necessarily the drinking part, but just that celebration that you made it to the end of the summer. Some of you might be feeling sad. That's fine. Some of you might be feeling happy. That's fine. Our family tradition, I don't know if I shared this, is that we really did not like that summer ended. And we loved summer, and we felt sad that we all had to go back to school and that it was so hot and everyone was so discouraged. And I remember Lincoln, when he went to kindergarten, I picked him up. It was a half day, And he was just like, oh, it's so hot. And, I don't like school. And he was complaining some of the things I talk about in this episode. And I said, you know what? Let's just pretend that summer's not over and let's just jump in the pool. And so we said, first day of school, jump in the pool. And the three of us, Sawyer, Lincoln, and I, all jumped in the pool, fully dressed in our regular school clothes. And that became a tradition that we did for the next 18 years or whatever, 12 years. So create a little tradition if you want, something that you do with your friends, something that you do with yourself or with your family to really commemorate the end of the summer and this back to school vibe. And just try to, go with the flow as much as you can and enjoy it. And also, please enjoy this episode of Back to School Shit Show. I think you're going to love today's episode because I am talking about something that's probably on your mind. And I'm calling this episode the Back to School Shit Show because I guess I want to normalize that the transition back to school from summer break is not usually seamless. It is definitely a transition, and I just want you to be prepared for the shenanigans that might happen with your kids and also help you have the right mindset going into the next couple of weeks so that you don't lose your mind, right? I want you to have a good mindset, right? So you don't lose your mind. I'm going to get right into some of the nitty gritty in the early part of this episode because I know that sometimes, your moms and you might get distracted and not get to finish an episode. So I want to give you the 5 things that you need to know right as school starts. The first one is that I want you to understand that your kid, they might not like their teacher, especially if you have younger kids like kinder, 1, 2, preschool, even 3rd, 4th, elementary school. You kind of want them to like their teacher when you have an elementary school kid. You may have a child who doesn't warm up to the teacher. I just want you to know that that's okay. That doesn't mean anything about your kid being, oh, they're so shy, or they're not a very warm kid, or, oh, this is going to be such a hard year because they don't like their teacher. I just want you to know that your kids, they might be shy with their teacher and they might not want to talk to them. And that's just normal. So I don't want you to make your kids' behavior a problem. I don't want you to be like, go hug your teacher. You'll see all their kids hugging the teacher and being super sweet. And you might feel self-conscious. You might think your kid's like social. And I just want you to know that quality relationships take time to build and that your kid might not warm up to their teacher right away. And that is not a problem. So that's the first thing I wanted you to know. The second is that I really think this is probably the most important thing I'm going to say is that your kids are going to be exhausted the first week of school. This is just true. It is important that you keep the afternoons open. You might be tempted to plan like a big play date or big back to school picnic in the park and things like that. And you can plan those things, but I want you to be a little flexible and know that your kids might just not be up for it. Going back to school is very tiring for them. They have to sit still. Even if you have teenagers, they have to sit in a desk. They have to listen to their teacher. They have a lot of input, sensory input going on. I want you to be ready for that exhaustion. Really, my recommendation is that you keep that first hour after pickup screen free. There might be a temptation to have your kids go on a screen to like decompress or come down, but moving to a screen shortly after getting home, it will make it a little bit hard for your child's like activated stress response to reset itself and catch up. So instead of just kind of letting them disconnect on a screen or a video game or watching YouTube or watching TV or something, I want you to think about how can I use this time to connect with them, like playing a game or hanging outside or doing some of the things that you've been doing all summer, just doing those in the afternoon and doing, allowing for some of that reset time. Knowing that that first week of school, your kids are probably going to be pretty exhausted. The third thing that I would like to caution you about as kids go back to school is that sibling conflict might shoot through the roof during this back to school transition. The way to move through, like decrease sibling squabbles, is by creating special time. Your kids are going to need individual one-on-one time with you most days right after school or, shortly after pickup. I call that period of time right after pickup eyeballs, because that's the time where your kid kind of really needs to connect with you. So if you have two that you pick up at the same time, that's fine, or three or four, however many you have. You can get everybody situated at home, get them playing a game, get them reading a book, get them playing outside, and then you can kind of pull each child in and just say, hey, I want to hang out with you, and spend 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever you can spare with each kid. That can just look like playing what they want to play. They're kind of playing Legos, or they're playing dolls, or they're playing house, or they're jumping on the trampoline, or, they're, I don't know, whatever your kids do. Going and doing that thing with them, alongside of them. It doesn't have to be talking. You can actually just be in their presence and maybe wait for the stories to come, or maybe they're not going to need to say anything to you. Just having that special time with just you is going to be huge. It will really help you have fewer sibling conflicts, okay? I know that's what you want, is to have less fighting with your children and less annoying behavior with your kids. So doing this special time is like an antidote. Is that the word? Antidote to sibling conflict. Okay, number 4, social stuff is going to come up. This is going to happen. It happens at almost every age. You got preschoolers who are struggling with friendships. You've got middle schoolers who are not sure how they navigate, how they fit in. You've got high schoolers who now people have boyfriends and girlfriends and they friends and all of that, right? So the social stuff is going to be there. Friendships shift over the summer. Kids mature. Some kids get really into one video game over the summer and then they come back and that's all they want to talk about. And your kid didn't play Roblox all summer, or they didn't play Fortnite, and you don't have anything to talk about. Navigating friendships, it might be hard for your kid. They might not know who to play with at recess. They might not feel comfortable at drop-off. It might be difficult, that social stuff. And I want you to be okay with this. I don't want you to think that your child is like antisocial or on the bad path to like being with all the bad kids or whatever. Not that I don't really think there are any bad kids. You might, but I don't. So if you're thinking that, just realize that all of this friendship stuff, it just comes up in the beginning of the year. And allowing some time and trust that your child's going to navigate, they're going to find their people, they're going to find their friend group, and it's going to be okay. So the more comfortable you are with your child's discomfort, the easier it will be for your child to move through their big feelings. Because they're like, am I okay? Am I going to be okay? Nobody likes me. And then they look at you and they really want to feel like they're getting this feedback of like, no, honey, you're going to be fine. But if they're looking at you and you're thinking, ooh, I don't know, are you going to be okay? They might adopt that thought. I'm not okay. I'm not going to be okay. More comfortable you are, even when your child is struggling, the easier it is for your child. So that's kind of cool. Number 5, I'm sorry to share this one. Expect misbehavior to escalate over the next 2 weeks. Once school starts, if you're in it right now, mamas, you're in the back to school shit show right now. That's fine. You're seeing it currently. The misbehavior is escalating. If you're just starting school, get ready because it's coming. You're going to have more big feeling cycles. Remember, a big feeling cycle is sort of what I call, how I label a temper tantrum. Big feeling cycle is an intense emotional reaction to a circumstance. And your child has their big feelings and they come out through complaining and crying and negotiating and anger and whatever the big feelings are and how they show up, right? So you're going to have more of those. We want to think about big feeling cycles, intensity, duration, and frequency. So hopefully, if you've been practicing your Calm Mama skills, the last few months, then you're going to be able to help your child move through these fast. So they won't last as long. So you're going to have decreased duration. Hopefully they're not as intense because you've been practicing compassion in the middle of these feeling cycles. But what is going to happen is that they're going to increase in frequency. You might be like, what the heck is going on? How come they're so like, this is just it's a shit show. Remember that this is just happening, right? You're going to have more resistance. You're going to have more feelings. Your child's just going through a lot. They're coping with a lot. They're having to use all their good coping strategies at school all day. And then they come home and they have that bra off feeling, right? Like that relaxed feeling. And they're like, now I'm just going to let it all out. And so your kid's behavior is a strategy that they are using to communicate or cope with their big feelings. When you're in those big feeling cycles, pause, take that pause break, take care of yourself, reset your own emotional and nervous system, and then get curious. So these are these 5 things that I want you to be looking out for. I'll repeat them, just that your kids, they might not like their teacher. That's okay. Your kids might be really exhausted the first week of school. That's okay. Sibling conflict may happen. Special time is the antidote. Number 4, social stuff is going to come up. Friend stuff, things like that. And then you're going to have a lot more misbehavior and big feeling cycles. I share all this because I love the ideal day and thinking a positive parenting vision and all of those things when we are kind of anticipating good things. But I also know that some circumstances are just difficult. I don't want you to go into this school year feeling worried or dread because of what I've just said. I actually want you to feel confident. I want you to feel ready. I want you to be able to feel calm when this stuff is happening and hopeful. I'm going to give you a few thoughts that I think will help you in this transition. These are the thoughts that are going to help you feel confident, calm, ready, and hopeful. So one of my favorite thoughts when I am in a transition, when the kids go back to school or the first couple of days of summer or the first day or two of winter break, whatever it is, I like to think this is a transition. It is a really helpful thought for me, and that's why I'm offering it to you, because I then can add the second thought, which is transitions are temporary. That's the whole purpose of the word transition. I'm in between 2 stages. I was on summer break, and now we're moving to school schedule and school rhythm, and this period of time is a transition. So those thoughts are going to really serve you. Another thought, it will take time to figure out our rhythm and routine. So looking at these 2 weeks, the first 2 weeks of school as like kind of exploration, like, curiosity, wow, where are the things that are difficult? Where's the friction in our rhythm? Where's the friction in our routine? What's not working? What is working? Giving yourself permission to think, I'm going to figure this out and it's going to take some time. And then offering to yourself, I have plenty of time. You mamas, you don't have to get it right that first week of school. You're going to get to school, there's going to be a carpool line mess up. It's going to be really long. You're going to try to get to pickup and there's not going to be any parking because no one has worked out their carpool yet. Moms and dads are dropping off and moms and all the people are there at school. People are staying longer at drop off. Like, it's going to be difficult. And so you don't have to have it all worked out just perfectly. The school also knows that this is a transition. They've done it many, many times, right? Many years. So you can figure it out. You can give yourself time and permission. One of my thoughts, and I'm going to talk about this now, is that your job, my job as a mom, and your job that I'm going to teach you, is to create a gentle handoff each morning and at each pickup. I'm going to teach you this concept of a gentle handoff in a minute, but I want you to really think about this thought that is your job. Your job is to create a gentle handoff each morning. What do I mean by gentle handoff? When you drop your kids off at school, I want you to think, how can I deliver the calmest, most emotionally regulated human being as possible? What is it going to take for me to deliver that kid to that school gate? What it actually means is that you are going to need to be really calm yourself and not be completely obsessed with being on time, of looking a certain way, of having the perfect lunchbox and like having all of the right school supplies and, the shoes being tied and ready and everybody, all the things all lined up. If you are stressed and you're trying to reach some kind of mother standard that you created in your head, and you're putting that pressure on your kids, they are going to feel it. They're going to act out more because that's just what they do. That's how they respond to pressure, is it creates more feelings and then more big feeling cycles. And you're going to end up dropping off a kid who just got yelled at, who was shamed, who was threatened, is stressed. Your stress it's contagious. But so is your positive thinking. And so that's why these thoughts of, this is a transition, it's going to take time, I can figure this out, I don't have to be perfect today, those thoughts are going to help you create that gentle handoff. Another thought I want to offer to you is that this one is so great. It's, my kids are 100% going to master the back to school routine. Just decide right now that you as a family are going to figure this out. If you figure it out on day 2, excellent. If you'd figure it on day 100, fine. You're going to keep at it until you have a school routine where you have peace and calm at drop-off. That is the goal. If you have kinder and first graders or whatever, or preschool and kinder, little ones, then you have a lot of years to figure out how to master the back to school routine. That's an amazing gift, right? You have lots and lots and lots of time. You might not get it this school year. Who cares? Fine, you're late. Who cares? Realizing that you have a lot of time to master this routine is going to free you from the pressure. And then also, if you're thinking, I will master it, we will figure this out, you're going to have a lot of confidence. So these are the thoughts that I love for you for as you go back to school. Thoughts are contagious. Feelings are contagious. You are the leader in your home. And that means you set the standards, both for operations, like how it goes, and the mindset. So first comes the mindset, and then comes the operations. I actually really want you to do this exercise. I want you to sit, pause this, or come back to it. Come back and say, okay, what I want to do is I want to write a list of thoughts that I want to be thinking during the first week of school. Or if you're already in school, just be like, okay, next week, what are going to be my thoughts? Particularly in the mornings. And you can borrow the ones I listed. Go back, listen to them again. Write down, how do you want to be thinking? Because these thoughts are going to create emotion in you. And from your feelings, you're going to show up differently. When you're feeling calm, you're going to show up differently as a parent. When you're feeling committed to your rhythm and routine, you're going to have a lot more confidence. So I really want you to do that exercise because the thoughts you have are contagious and the feelings are contagious. So your children are going to follow along with your lead. If you're thinking, my kid is a mess, this is a disaster, you're going to approach situations from that mindset and you're probably going to feel stress. From that stress place, you're not going to be able to calmly teach your kids the rhythm and the routine for you, especially in the mornings. I'll do a whole episode on mornings. Really all about this whole first week. If you are just thinking this is a transition, we're going to figure it out, there's no problem here, plenty of time, you're going to feel much better than thinking, I'm a mess, my kid's a mess, this is a disaster, we're so far behind, other moms figured it all out, other moms are better than me, other moms know what to do. I'm telling you, I work with amazing moms. The moms who look like they have it all together, they come to coaching and they still feel like I'm not doing good enough. So all the moms are just walking around kind of feeling like, and so you can have a lot of compassion for them. You can have self-compassion, and you actually don't need to buy into some sort of perfect standard of motherhood or being a parent or anything. We're all doing the best we can, especially in the back to school shit show. You're just in the middle of it, and it's not a problem, and it's temporary. These are the thoughts I wanted to give to you as you head back into school and you start this school year off. Yeah, I'm sure that you have all sorts of feelings. And so hopefully this episode has helped you think a little bit more ready for it, and also just compassionate for you and for your kids. And you can just love yourself through it. That's what I want to leave you with. Have a great week and good luck. And I'll be thinking all of you as you start this next school year. All right, everybody. Talk to you next time.